Ms. Chapman? Okay, I'm gonna take that to be a no. So Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening, thanking you for all the many blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We thank you for taking care of us and for blessing our families. We ask that you continue to bless each and every family that is represented here today. We ask that you forgive us for any and every unkind thought, word, or deed that we may have expressed against you, ourselves, or the least of your children. We ask that you bless our leadership, that you direct our organization, and that you guide us in the way that you would have us to go. We ask that you give us ideas, that you prevent us from making any errors, that you guide us, and that you continue to bless us. These are all blessings we ask in your son, Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, so I welcomed you. I wished you all, Linnell, now you gonna show up. You did that on purpose, didn't you, Linnell? Anyway, moving right along. We don't have minutes from the last Zoom meeting, so we're gonna start fresh. It's a new year, new you. Darius is gonna join us shortly. I know his daughter wasn't doing really well, so he's gonna pop on when he can. For the president's report, I was really hoping that we would have been able to meet last week because there were quite a few events coming upon the holiday MLK weekend. And I didn't know some of you may have wanted to participate in some of those. There were some virtual events, and then there were some in-person events. And then they, normally how they have the march, they didn't do a march, but they did have a drive-through event where people were doing like a caravan type thing. And I know some of you participate in those, and I wanted to get those out. I did post a couple on our page. I don't know if anybody got a chance to participate in any of that or not. And then I kind of was interested if anyone's local was doing anything in what you guys were participating in. Since we didn't get together and that didn't happen, I just pray that everyone was safe, and I'm glad that we're able to get together today. I don't have a lot to report. We have not met as a racochr group since the last time that we talked on Zoom. This is going to be a real short meeting. I don't see G Money. When Darius comes, because I know he said he had some things to do, he may not be able to stay the full time. So when he does come, I will yield to him. Is there anybody that has anything to report from their local? Oh, this is going to be a real short meeting. If Darius don't come soon, he's going to be left out.
Well, I really don't have anything, but the only thing we've been doing in my local, we've been having civil rights Zoom meetings. We have a Zoom meeting every other month. So I think we'll have one sometime this month. We were going to have a Black History program at the local, but that's not going to happen. That's about it.
Okay, well, I mean, at least you guys are doing something and you're trying to keep the ball in play. That's about all we can do right now. I have asked Brother Darius if he would continue to keep us scheduled at the region, and we'll just get in where we fit in. If the opportunity presents itself where we can meet, we will. And if it doesn't, we'll just plug in a Zoom like we've been doing. I just would rather have it scheduled just in case we can't meet. This thing eventually is gonna go away, I guess.
Yeah. Do we like, say if you do schedule a physical meeting, have the Zoom meeting kind of like as a backup ready to go in place of that instead of rescheduling?
Yeah, I think we should. I think that will be safe. So what we do have, Phil has set it up to where we have a link all the time. So if something comes up in the future to where we can't meet, we just know automatically to go to Zoom.
Okay, yeah.
I think this time, my Wednesday was just really jacked up. I had Thursday, and then I think Darius had something, so we just needed a different day. And so when they said one day next week, they didn't say what day, and then it ended up being Wednesday. So had I known it that night, we could have done that, but I did not know.
Okay.
Yeah, but that is a good suggestion, and we'll put that in the minutes, and I'll make sure that they get that done so we can do that in the future.
All right.
Also, I have a question. Is it possible, you two stop it. Is it possible to receive the Zoom notice either via email, via text? Because quite a few people don't get on Facebook as often as some of us do. And it would be a lot easier to retrieve it, to get on the meeting if it's, easily accessible through a direct email or a text message.
Well, the email did go out. Nova sent the email out like last week. As a matter of fact, I normally am the one who posted in our group, and I forgot about it. So I had to thank Shauna, because if it wasn't for Shauna, it would have never gone on that page, because I completely forgot about it.
Hey, sister, how you doing? It's Linnell. I
The
I
Linnell
did.
that made me do the prayer, that Linnell. I guess she just didn't want me to get rusty. Thank you, my brother.
Don't get rusty, sister. But Pam, the email did go out by Nova, but it got canceled, right? Didn't it get canceled?
The first meeting got canceled for
Right.
the in-person meeting, and she should have just said rescheduled instead of canceled. But it said canceled. But then she sent out another one letting us know about the meeting. But to me, it looked funny.
Right.
But now Antoine said whenever he gets something from Nova, he really looks at it. So maybe because he really looked at it, because I looked at mine and it didn't say a whole bunch. But you would have had
this
to
was a
click on it.
surprise.
And then when you clicked on it, it had the link underneath it.
Okay.
It was funny looking to me.
Yeah, we need that.
It wasn't
text
real.
message.
It was not abundantly clear,
Right.
in my opinion.
Right. Hopefully we don't have this problem again, because we almost missed this meeting.
Yeah, they have changed the way in which they send emails from the region. So in an effort to not send out everybody's email address, they kind of cleaned up the way they send it. So I sent it to Darius, and so then what she sent out basically just had my name and Darius' name on it, but it didn't really have any information. But then once you click on it, it like opens up, and then it said something about a Zoom meeting. But if you didn't click it, you didn't get that. It was easy to miss. It was funny looking.
Miss Pam.
Yes.
So to kind of answer Tina's question, I had to call the regarding and a couple of other groups, because I told her I didn't get an email, a carrier pigeon, nothing, a smoke signal.
And you may
nothing.
need to update your email address with Nova. That may be a problem too.
Well, also what I told her, I said I didn't get a notification about either, and I'm on the e-board of one of them, and she said I don't know what happened, but she put me back in, so you might just have to call and leave a voicemail, because I left the voicemail and she sent me an email back like 2 days later. So
okay.
That might be the way to do it.
So Tina, did you get your email straightened out?
No, ma'am. And I will take Jennifer's suggestion and send Nova an email or call and leave her a voicemail message.
Okay.
To add me to the email group.
And then I'll let her know that they've been looking kind of funny. Maybe they can kind of clean that up a little bit. Because like I said, the one I got it, but it was funny looking. Had I not just known we had a meeting, I wouldn't have known what that was. I would have just looked at that and kept right going.
Wow. Well, I'm glad we're all here now.
Yeah, like I said, and I knew it would be a small meeting, and that's why I wasn't worried about in person, because I knew it wasn't that many of us. So let me see. We just got 8 of us.
And I knew some was different with all the notices and stuff. So
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, it wasn't that important. Go ahead.
It's always important when you speak, my dear.
Well, thank you. But I was just saying, I knew something was off with the email system or something, because I used to get emails about like all with all the flyers and stuff in them, and I don't even get that anymore. So
Oh, okay. Well, you'll be getting them now. I hope. Okay, so whenever Darius pops on, I'll yield to him. But does anybody else have anything else to report? I don't even know if we can consider that a report, but I would entertain a motion to accept the president's report.
Motion to accept the president's report as presented.
Is there support?
Or
Okay, the motion has been moved and properly second. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Ooh, Jennifer, you sang the
Jennifer.
other. Jennifer, I don't know what you got. Go. I have a
Sound like
really
an
bad
opera singer or
signal.
something.
Jennifer giving us sound effects.
Ooh.
Okay. Under all business, I want to talk about the gala. We did send out a letter, and I know we talked about that on the last Zoom meeting. We had not received a response. And I don't know, my gut, you know, when you're playing with money, my gut say, hey, they didn't respond, let me call over there. So I called over there and I didn't get anybody. Finally, I did call over there, and when I got this lady, she acted like she didn't know what I was talking about. And I'm like, no, we sent a letter, we didn't get a response, blah, 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 blah. And then I found out, oh, they sold the business. So now there are new people there, and she really didn't know what I was talking about. So we talked for a while, and then I started going back to old text messages, and I was able to find the phone number from the original owner. So I called and talked to them, and she goes, well, you know, it's been over a year. I'm like, lady, I know it's been over a year, but I know you got our money. And she goes, well, she kind of hemmed and hawed a little bit, and I'm like, nope, wait a minute. There was COVID. There was a state mandate. We weren't allowed to have anything. You couldn't have gatherings over 5 people. I said, so either you return the money or then you need to honor the agreement. And she was in, well, I can give you half of the money back. No. I said, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to turn it over to the legal department. I said, that wasn't my money. It's not my fight to have with you. And she goes, well, have you let me know who to call and I will give them a call. No, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to turn it over to the legal department. So I called back to the original people I had talked to, and I let them know my position and what had happened. And she said, well, what the lady had done is she had turned over monies for some events, but she had not turned over the money for our event. She said, can you send me the contract or any documentation from that event? So, you know, I keep everything, but I'll never know where it is. That's why I'm not the secretary to nothing. But I was able to find the contract in some old emails. I was able to talk to Darius, and he was able to track down a copy of the check and a copy of where they had cashed it. And so we sent those things over. And so they are going to honor it. So when we get ready to have an event, they will deduct that from our total cost at that time. We're just going to have to stay on top of it. Right now, the numbers still don't say we can have an event. But I just wanted to let you guys know what had been going on. That being said, I still want to look at something that we can do as community outreach. It may be as simple as, I know a lot of people are doing coat drives and sock drives and food drives. I don't know what it is we can do, but there has to be something. Start thinking out of the box. There's got to be some type of community organization, some kids, some seniors, some people somewhere that need something. Maybe do something that the others are not doing. Something besides coats and hats and socks and food. I don't know what, but I mean, all of us are kind of bright. I'm sure we can think of something. And it may be something that we don't do ourselves, where we got to just spend our money. Maybe it's something that we can do collectively, that we can encourage people to donate to. And once we get it all donated, we could somehow drop it off. Or I don't know, maybe it could be, I don't know, a lot of things are happening virtual. I'm not that creative. I'm not gonna lie. That is not my ministry. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. But I could use your help on this. I hate to be in an organization where it's fluff, where you just don't do nothing. Now, granted, our hands are a little bit tied, but they're not tied up all the way. I'd like to see us do something. I know we've been saying this a long time, but I'm not seeing the results. So, work a little harder on that as a group. Does anybody have anything to add under old business?
Nope.
Okay. Is there any more old business? Okay, new business. Does anybody have any new business?
Well-
Sister Pam, I was just going to suggest under what you were saying under your report was, if we do have the hall, if possible, maybe we can, of course we can't have a big event or anything, but from our region, could we, this is just an idea, ask each plant chair or each plant, if they have, like we just had Willie Fulton, and we could recognize him, and anyone from one of the locals under Region 1A, anyone that they deem as a special outstanding employee, and this one particular person, and we recognize them as a Region 1A from racochr.
And
You know what I'm saying?
recognize them, like, by doing what?
A recognition dinner. A recognition dinner as the committee that supports the civil human rights, in recognition to all the individuals from each local, that the local picks out that special person as an asset to our UAW, and also
You ain't gonna find nobody else with 68 years.
no, just recognize someone who has been in the fight or doing something that's good for the community.
Okay, well, that's something, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all these ideas and we're gonna just start generating a list, and eventually we'll have some things for the committee to go back and vote on. So that is something, Shauna, you add that to the list. But when I say community outreach, I mean something that we actually do in the community. Recommending or recognizing our members is always good. That's always good. That's a plus, because I don't think we do that enough. We got some hardworking members and people that have been in the struggle long as he has. Oh my gosh, that's like longer than I've been alive. That's longer than you've been alive. That's a long time.
Very long time. Almost 70
I had
years.
a guy like that out at Ipsy that had been there a really, really long time. And HR came to me one day and they said, Pam, go up there and ask Mr. Tucson, because I was in benefits at that time. They said, ask him if he want to retire and tell him we'll give him $50,000 if he leaves. Well, Mr. Tucson worked up in this plant they called distributor. And it was like on the 3rd floor. And it meant I had to go up all them stairs. My shape ain't never been the best. I was out of breath by the 2nd level. And I used to watch him run up every morning. He ran up like pop, 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 just peach. So I was out of breath, but I got up there panting. And by the time I caught my breath, I told him what they wanted. And he looked at me and he said, pretty lady, if you don't work long as I have and you ain't got $50,000, you don't need to be working. Go on back downstairs and tell him I said no. So I had to go back downstairs and tell him no. And so they told me, they said, well, go up there and tell him we'll give him $100,000 to leave and he can keep his pension. Well, he was one of those people that had worked for the company years ago, like back when Grinnell Brothers was there. I think he used to tutor one of the owners from Grinnell in piano and drive him somewhere. Anyway, he had worked there long enough that he had retired, turned 65, and was getting a pension and had come back to work and had 30 more years. So he was actually getting a pension, had 30 years and was still working. So they told him he could keep his pension. So they offered him 100. He said, "You mean I can get 100,000? I can keep my pension and I can get another pension?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, pretty lady, if they give me my money, I'm gonna look out for you." So he retired. And when he got his money, he gave me $20. I said, "Well, bless his heart." I was so happy for him. He gave me $20 and a bunch of collard greens out of his garden. But those are the only two people that I know that have worked that many years. I was so happy to get them collard greens now. I wasn't studying at $20, but them collard greens, that made me happy. I mean, he brought me like a whole bushel. They were still on the stalk. But yeah, we have a few gyms in each of our facilities. I'm sure if we looked hard, we might want to just start gathering names. So when it gets where we can gather again, or like when we have our gala, maybe we could honor them at the gala. Maybe we could have an honoree or a hero table or something. There go G-Money.
Yes, hello.
Hello, I'm worried about you. Look, I can back up in my meeting because I know you got something to report. G-Money?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing? How's everybody doing?
Okay, so I know I can back up in my meeting because I got Darius on and I got you. And I was down here to new business, but I can back up so you guys can add to your reports. Would you like to be first or you want Darius first?
Let Darius go.
Okay. Hey, Darius.
Hey, how's everybody doing this evening?
Good.
Good. Hold on, let me switch the video thing on here.
You know we want to see you. Thank you, Shauna.
All right, good evening again, everybody. Nothing much from the region to report other than the fact that Pam report is accurate as far as the work her and I and Phil have been doing to try to locate this money for our black tie event. That's been going very good. Also, well, it's not going very good. I think we got it finalized, right, Pam? We all set? Okay. So I think we all set on that piece. We also did a voucher for an ad that we want to run that Pam spearheaded. So that's going well. That's in the process of being done. I think all we need now is just what the advertisement itself, what it's going to be, so we could vet it and look it through and make sure we put it through. So other than that, we don't have anything else to report from the region. Just trying to stand strong through this COVID stuff. I don't know if a lot of you guys heard the meeting last week was canceled due to the fact that we had an incident at the region where we had some people that came in the building that had COVID. So we had to shut down, so we couldn't do no in-person stuff. So it's looking real sketchy as far as how much stuff we could do as far as in-person events right now until we could kind of, get these numbers down for the most part. But with that being said, we're going to continue as I discussed with Pam, that in the event where we can't do in-persons, because we already got those dates on the calendar, we will do it virtually. But that's all I had to report from the region.
Well, thank you very much. And someone, I think it was Tina. I think it was Tina. Anyway, she discussed it and she said that, in the event that when we have to switch, that if we can't have it in person, that we automatically know that it's a Zoom and we just go on and make the switch. So Nova don't have to send out no more notices and people don't have to be confused. So I think we can make that happen.
Yeah. But sometimes, it's a fluid situation, right? So
correct.
Change
so we're gonna try to
quick.
spin on a dime, and if we can't, we just reschedule.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I yield.
You ready, Gerald?
Yeah, I'll just say good evening. Like I said, I don't have much to report than we had spoken last time. Obviously, it's projected, provided everything is flowing by summertime to have our conference, and that's all depending on what state that the state is in, the country is in. If we'll be able to have our yearly conference up at Black Lake. Um, I haven't heard anything, like I said, I missed the first part as to how the regions have responded. The locals have responded to reaching out to find out if the activities of the Civil and Human Rights Committees in the various locals in Region 1A. Other than that, like I said, there wasn't much, it wasn't that much significant. You probably all heard that the annual MLK walk in Southfield was a ride-a-thon, because of how things are. So again, it was basically a motorcade where cars, all rode in honor instead of the annual walk that they have. So that's all I have to report. I'll wait to new business to say a couple of other things.
Well, actually, that's right about where we are. We were right at about new business when I yielded, because I had just kept it going till you guys came on. So under new business, I only have two things. And that is, I wanted to talk about our group page. The reason you have a group page, in my mind, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, it's a closed group. It's kind of for members only. I wasn't trying to just have a whole nother Facebook page where everybody and their mama is on it. It's for us, so we can post things for our members, so that we can share things amongst each other, and for other civil rights group members. So in order to be a member of the group, it asks a couple questions. What local are you from? Are you a civil rights member? And do you promise to be active? And usually they tell you, I'm from local 900, I'm from local 372. Are you a civil rights member? They tell you yes. Do you promise to be active? Normally the appropriate answer will be yes, because if you tell me no, I'm gonna decline you, because I'm like, what you want to be on here for? That would be me, because I'm an administrator. I don't know why Phil made me an administrator. Maybe I should not be the administrator, because when I see you didn't answer any questions, I'm just gonna plead denied, denied, denied. I don't know who the other administrators are. I've not taken the time to look, but somebody has approved a lot of people. And for some reason, I've seen a lot of requests, like an uptick in requests lately. And I'm grateful and I'm glad that people seem to be interested, but I'm like, why? Because I don't see anybody in any meeting. I don't see nobody, any locals doing anything extra. I don't see the benefit. I don't see the result. So I don't need lurkers. And that's another thing. When we met in person, there's information, and that's why I didn't tell you about the exposure at the region. When I'm in a group with just y'all, I may say certain things. When I'm on this internet, I don't know who else is on there. I'm not saying nothing about nothing. I'm like that guy on Hogan Hero. I know nothing. I see nothing. I just don't know. So I maybe should not be an administrator. I don't know who the other administrators are. There's a post on there right now. It was done by Russell Hustle Jenkins. I do know him. He's from my local. I think it's all out of order and all kinds of inappropriate. It's profanity laced. And I'm taking it down. The only reason it's not already gone, because it's a rant and he's very upset. I think it's very heartfelt. He's emotional, but what he's talking about, it's about COVID. And I think a lot of our members may be going through the same thing. They may be feeling the same way. It affects a lot of locals. It ain't got nothing to do with civil rights. I don't think it belongs on our page. I didn't take it down because others are going through it. I didn't want to take away his platform to express himself, but we're going to have some better rules. People are going to have to be respectful if they're going to be on our page. And I'm telling y'all now so y'all can go look at it in case you didn't see it, because I promise you by midnight, it's going to be gone. That's going to be my gift to y'all. I'm taking it down. And people that cannot be respectful are going to have to be blocked or I'm gonna have to put the approval thing on there. Before your post can be shared, it's gonna need to be approved. I just want to know your thoughts. She said she deleted that last night. It's already gone. Oh, so don't go look for it. It's gone. Shauna said she beat me to it. It's already gone. Well, yeah, it was getting ready to be gone, Shauna. I just like, what in the world is wrong with him? So at least one of our administrators is on the ball. It wasn't just me. But yeah, it was all kinds of out of order, and it was disrespectful. And I'm gonna have a talk with him myself. Don't be doing that on my page. But like I said, a lot of people are frustrated, and I do understand that. But we just gonna have to get some better rules on our page. Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Pam, just use your best judgment. You're the administrator, so just, you know, I didn't see that post, but yeah, just use your questions that you have and just use your best judgment. If you think something ain't right, deny them.
You know, I deny almost everybody. If it's up to me, we probably wouldn't have no group. So that's why I say maybe I should not be the administrator. Does anybody else have like this inkling in their heart that they want to be an administrator? I could be replaced.
I
Well,
mean,
no,
I'm an
well,
administrator too, as well, but I haven't been approving anyone to come on in the group.
Okay.
I think between you
Well, no,
and
Pam, I
Shauna,
think you made some valid points as far as how we had to vet a lot of the things that you guys allow on your page, because, you know, we actually in a new era. You know, I mean, we have a lot of, you know, right-wing groups out here searching for information that they can use in, you know, 30-second blurbs, right? Because we live in a society of 10-second sound bites, right? So they want to take something that the UAW said and associate with it, and they'll use it in other ways. And then you also have people that come on and they record this type of stuff. So you're right. I mean, it's good to have, you know, administrators that do a good job at, you know, vetting the stuff that goes on the page. I mean, you don't want people that's on there just listening and using it for a platform to take it and use it for a right-wing message to take things away from our communities that we desperately need, just because we're talking openly as family, right? So I think you're doing a tremendous job. So I mean, I would recommend and encourage all the administrators to have that same vigilance.
Okay. And so the only other thing I had under new business on my agenda was to update the emails, and we kind of already talked about that. So does anybody have anything else to add?
New business or add on what you just referred to?
Just to add, period. I was gonna talk about the under new business about the ad. We did have an e-board meeting on December 13th, and the executive board did approve to spend $100 to take out an ad in the African American in Unions ad journal under the Common Ground in Education Foundation ad journal. And I have not seen the mock-up. I believe Phil is going to make it. So when he makes it, he can show it to us. So we can, or get it at least approved through the region. So we should be able to see it before it's printed.
Ma'am, I sent it to you to share with them for.
And I did
You've
look
been
at it.
at
I just didn't share it to anybody. Can you share it on your screen? I looked at it.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I did look at it. I don't know if I sent you to Darius or not. Don't shoot the messenger. I did look at it though. And he sent it to me a good couple, 2-3 weeks ago. So it would be my fault, Darius, if you have not seen it. Nyla! She's out there torturing the neighbors now.
We gotta reach him on the phone. If I want that was cold, get one of the bags, pick one of the ice cream out.
So if you guys can see, if anybody has any anything that they like or don't like, this will be the time to speak up. Darius, that probably mean you.
Yeah, I'm just reading over it. I'm looking at it.
And I can send that to your email too. I don't know why I did not.
Email that to me. That'd be great. I don't see anything wrong with it at all.
Yeah, open it up.
Motion to
I
accept.
wouldn't have any objections on face value, so it looks good.
I have a note. Just in the top portion where it says is proud and pleased to support this celebration of African American men in union. It should say unions, correct?
No,
Okay, well, I went through
No.
that already, but I think the
No.
name of the,
no. That is the name of the organization. It's the name of the
Okay.
conference. It's not in unions.
and I think the
Okay.
problem is in
It's the
some
name.
places
It's not
it
a.
appears
It's not an
men
action.
in
It's the
union
name.
leadership.
It's the name, not an action.
Okay.
Yeah, I said
My
the
bad.
same thing, but in certain places it appears African American men in union
Yeah,
leadership.
and
And in
that's
some places it doesn't say leadership.
and
And
that,
that's where the problem is.
yeah, and it should have been corrected. It had always the original verbiage is in union.
So
You know,
that means
it's
men
just
should
like,
be
you know,
taken
like,
out
you
as
know,
well.
some people want to put an S on Walmarts and Kmart's, you know, but that's the actual name.
African American,
I wasn't aware that that was the name. I
Yeah.
thought it was the other thing. My apologies.
Yeah, no problem. I'm making it clear. That's what it is. That is the name.
Yeah, I kept trying to put that S there too.
I have a question. So the acronym is AAIU, African Americans in Union,
Leadership.
correct?
Yeah.
So men should be taken off then. Where it says African American men in union, it should just say African Americans in union.
Yeah, that's an easy fix.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get clarity.
Yeah, no, that's an easy fix.
So then can you put an S on Americans and then it'd be good grammar?
Why are you trying to change the name? Yeah, because
I just trying to have good grammar, okay? I'm an English major, okay? I just like good grammar. When I talk, you would never know, but when I write, I have good grammar. Well, anyway, that's kind of what it's gonna look like. Y'all work on the grammar part. And so under new business, does anybody else have anything else to add?
Yes.
Okay, you got the
Okay.
floor.
All right. Yeah. So there's a couple of things. One, there was years ago that during our part of our racochr council meeting, we heard from other locals issues that they had, and I was talking, with a couple of other members, and we looked at that and wanted to know the feeling of the council that we bring that portion back. That's actually a very important part to in our meeting, just to find out the sort of issues or problems that may be going on at other locals. Sometimes we can share some insights on it, just being aware, seeing if we are seeing certain types of patterns taking place. So that would be, something that I'm making a suggestion that we incorporate that as a regular part of our council meetings, just to ask those of us from other locals if we have any issues that they like to share with the council, civil rights issues. That,
Well,
you know,
we
can
did,
share
we
with
did
council.
ask that. We asked that this today. We asked
Okay.
it at every meeting. I think the problem is, in the last couple of years with this COVID thing, a lot of our locals are not meeting. Now, Antoine did say that they had a Zoom meeting with their civil rights council, but he
Yes.
didn't come up with any issues that we could actually be of help with. So what happens with our meetings, and that is the purpose in us having them, is so that people from other locals will come and share what's going on at those locals, so we can be like an intermediary between the region and the locals. It's just lately we have not been getting the participation that we had hoped for. So hopefully, and that was
Okay.
why we started the face group page. So hopefully we could get, more input from other locals. So hopefully when you go back to your local, you can figure out what's going on there. And when Shauna goes back, and Christina and myself and Phil, as we go back and talk to other people, we can bring some of that into the fold and maybe be helpful or useful.
Okay,
But
yes.
yeah, that is a very good point. Maybe the next memo that goes out from the region, we can encourage them to do that.
Okay. The second thing is that there was a request. It was one if we could remember, we used to have those little brochures. It was about 4 or 5 little 6-page brochure of the civil rights in general. Remember the little brochure we used to have?
Yeah, the ones
out,
we used to make and get from downtown. Yes.
Yes. So I was wondering if there's a request for some, if we could get an updated, if we have it, or if we can update it, or if not, still just get some of those for those locals that might and council members that might want a copy of that. And there was also a request for a few of the policies and procedure books.
Okay, those come from the education department. And normally when we would have that, you remember when we would have that, I forget what they call it. When we have it's not an education fair, but when we would have that thing with all the tables set up, and we would have our racochr table, we would get things from downtown to pass out. The expo, correct.
Yeah.
When we would have that, we would get all that material from downtown, and then the ones that we would have left over, we would send to the locals, and then we would pass out to our members. I'm sure they probably got some of that stuff sitting in the basement. Well, some of that got burned up in Solid House in the fire. So
Right.
I don't know what they've done to reprint. We can check with Lakeisha and see what they may have down there, or what they've reprinted and what they have not. Everything's probably going to be new because a lot of it got burnt up.
Okay. All right. Sounds fair.
I'll put that on my list to double check and see what they now have.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
And then when we figure out what they have, we got to figure out how we're going to get it, and then how it's going to get to all these different locations.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they all coming to us no more.
Right. Okay. So I'll stop and let somebody else say some things, and something else come to mind, I'll bring it up. But okay, those are those two.
We about to wrap up.
Okay.
I got one thing, Gerald probably forgot, because it was a couple of us met and we had a discussion. We talked about those things he just brought up. But one thing, we have kind of a discrepancy as far as investigations go.
Oh yeah.
One of the other guys, well, I just say, one of the other guys that met with us, as far as investigations, he said at his local, they pull in the third stage. That's when they pull. That's when when it gets to third stage, that's when their local civil rights get involved as far as investigation. And I was telling them, like, at our local investigation I've done, as soon as the initial grievance is written on a request of the president/chairman, he gets me involved in the investigation. They don't wait until the third stage in my local. So we was trying to get some clarification on, is it once you get to the third stage, That's when
Or
the civil
when?
rights, is that legal, the civil rights department, committee investigates for at the initial first stage?
Well, we serve at the pleasure of our chairman. And I would tend to think if they use you in the beginning stages, it might not even get to the third stage. And the
Exactly.
information that you gather would help your bargaining team solve things a lot faster. But now I don't think in any of our book it says what stage they have to involve you or that
Exactly.
they even have to involve you.
Yeah,
So
Exactly.
that kind of depends on your chairman.
that was my
But
point, but
maybe someone can have a chit chat with that chairman, and maybe if he looked at things from a different perspective, he might do it differently.
well,
I
I
don't
just
know.
think it need to be some clarification across the board with
It
all civil
probably
rights,
should be.
with all civil rights committees, because you can't have local 99 doing an investigation and local 25 is doing it,
And that should come from downtown.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It need to be some clarification on at another level on what stage does the civil rights committee gets involved.
And I agree.
Well, this is Darius from the region again. I mean, there's no step. Again, so what you do is you have a right to do an independent investigation, and in doing so, even at the onset of a grievance, right, to see what's going on, take notes, take records, and all of that information is to be shared with the either the committee man or the chairperson / president of whatever unit. So,
Right.
and hold on one second. So you can share that information. You could get involved. You can even sit in some meetings, but it's at the pleasure again of that representative, of that chairperson or that steward or bargaining rep. See, so you could go out. You could talk to the members. You could talk to the workers. You could gather the data. That's our job. We are liaison. So we go out. We gather that data. We share it with the chairperson. We hope that the chairperson does that likewise and share information that he's finding out through the grievance procedure, even to make the request for us to sit in on some of the meetings, right, with management, or do joint investigations along with management if it's a civil or human rights violation. So if you disagree with it, I mean, that's just the way it's been going across the board with different locals. So, I mean, at the region this year, I mean, last year, I would say it's been a low volume on complaints that's made it to the regional level. I have had representatives call in and want to know at what stage they get involved, and similar questions to what's being asked here today. And based on the manuals and everything else, and taking counsel, that, there's no certain step contractually that empowers a committee person on the civil rights committee to just, implant themselves into the process.
All right.
Well,
Brother Darius, this is Brother Linnell Chapman. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as we are trying to be a stronger entity in our locals, it's very difficult to understand our seriousness and where we play a part in the civil understanding in our different units and different areas that we are here to help support. Our goal is to help make sure there's good social and union understanding between us as a union member and the company. Things are followed under these guidelines. And if we're not being used in this capacity, it's very difficult to understand why we are committed. So we want to refresh things and brush off some of this dust that's been sitting on us and let them understand why we're here. And if it is important for us to be here, then can we be actively involved versus just a committee? Because it's important to us that our civil human rights be acknowledged. I understand there's might be several things that haven't gotten to a level of down at the region or over at the regions, region 1A or different ones, but we still want to classify ourselves as important to our civil and human rights. We want to be a part of this committee and we actively want to be doing something that it shows, we're involved. But a lot of things that does happen in our locals does not entail that our abilities be used. And we have good ability. We have the strength. We want to be involved more, but for some reason, we're not being used to that capacity.
I think that's absolutely correct, my brother. And the best way to obtain these goals is through collective bargaining, in my opinion. Just as we have a grievance procedure, I think we need to do a better job in the future when we writing resolutions and things to that effect, to where we could actually get this stuff in the contract. I think it should say in the contract, when it talks about discrimination in those articles and sections of agreements, it should say at the first step, the union, the civil and human rights representative or liaison should have the same rights as a committee man, right, to get involved in the investigation process, right? But we bounded by language, and that's why the company pushes back on us, right? And then it's other politics that get involved when you have a committee person that doesn't want to work well with the liaison, right? So those are the things we need to fix, and we need to fix those in the system. So I think we fix those through collective bargaining. So I think it's important to maybe we start the message, prior to negotiations early off. A year out, before contract negotiations, saying, hey, we really need this in agreement. We really need to know if a worker has a problem with discrimination or human or civil rights violations, that the committee automatically gets injected right into the process. So
Then,
I think that's the way to do it.
Excuse me. Let me cut in here for a second. Let me cut in because the third Wednesday of the month is bad for me. I'm gonna make Shauna the host because I'm planning commissioner for my city, and that meeting starts, and it's a physical meeting, so I have to leave. But I can carry on. I'm gonna make Shauna the host, and then she can shut down the meeting at the appropriate time.
Don't worry, brother Phil.
All right,
We'll
Big
do.
Phil.
Be safe.
Thank you,
Okay,
Phil.
Phil.
All right.
Brother Darius, how can, if we understand that this is the language, this is language that we need to establish, can we take steps to doing that now so we can write that understanding in a resolution that can actively be like out front now? Because we've been spinning our wheels for a long time, and we're sitting dormant. We're active members, but we're still sitting dormant in this capacity. And can we do something? Can you help us in this area to help us move this forward with the bargaining understanding, as well as with a local understanding with our names from each local that's saying, hey, we're part of Region 1A. We've been a part of Region 1A for X amount of years. We would like to support our locals. Here's our understanding. Here's the resolution. Here, in the way we can be more used in the capacity of service, and not to take over, but also just to assist and what our understandings in that mean. I of course have never been in an active investigation, and I've been a part of racochr well over almost 20 years. And I was in local 900 for about 10 years, and I've been now at local 600 for 7 years. And in all these years, I've never been in an active investigation. Not to say there wasn't any, that other members may have been involved, but me, myself, and I'm not the chair that sits, I don't sit on the chair as the racochr, but I'm involved in the racochr at the region. Our committee, our chair at the local level doesn't meet or doesn't have any kind of involvement. And so I will talk to my chairman about that in his capacity. But as of yet, he has came to a few meetings. I've invited him. I've reached out to him from time to time. But I understand I think he's on afternoons. I myself was chair over, I was chair over at local 900 for a while, but that was only for a short while. And I serve in committee capacity, but I am willing to always support and always go after, but I'm also willing to step up and take the reins if necessary. But I don't want to keep giving out all this wasted energy if we're not going to be used. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense to be also active and doing something. I want to get where we adapted to the attitude that, hey, this is going to be the norm, not just showing up, not just eating some chicken and some donut. I want to understand that they understand we're here and they're going to use it. I want that in. See, we could put that down in a resolution. I agree with you on that, and I would like to make that a bargaining understanding, and certainly make this an active committee that even if we're not as active, it's still understood and respected in the sense of, hey, we need to call on Pam for this. We need to call on Phil. We need to call on Tina. We need to call on any one of the members concerning this here, and it be for real instead of just being on the committee.
I'd like to make some comments on that.
And we know what to do.
Yeah, I'd like to make some comments on that. So let's keep it real. And I don't know so the people who are attending this Zoom meeting are only your racochr members right now?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. I just want to make sure you know who I'm talking to. So there are a couple of things. So one, you have to use all outlets. And that is, like I said, you try to do things on a bargaining way. But let's keep it real. I've been on the floor. People will talk to me and share things that ordinarily they wouldn't come public or say. And part of the frustration is the sort of nonsense that, as a result of some of the nonsense that we're facing, with changing, impacting and changing, where we're going to have to start voting for our leadership. And that's stemming from frustrations of the membership. And so again, we have to look at one of the things that they come with civil human rights all the time. Because I can tell you stories, I'm not going to take up the time to do it. When you deal with things politically, and most of the leadership, in other words, are not necessarily that sensitive for that, because a lot of their friends, a lot of things are as it is in the society. I'll be tactful and put it in that way. And so we look at, we are an advisory board, council. And so one of the things that we can do, Linnell and everybody else, is begin to start looking. That gives us, again, some goal, something concrete to work on as to how we can, in other words, begin to share the importance of us being active and not just being in name only. I mean, a few of us are active. I've done investigations, but again, it's not across the board. And some of it is not, it's on purpose. And if they have their way, it'll never happen. Because politically, they know what that will mean. And so one of the things we have to look at, like you said, in bargaining, is, like you said, the language, where, in other words, it cannot be only left up to the chairperson to do that. It can't be. That's got to change. How we change it, I don't know. Like I said, it was the language talking, but that's got to change. Where, in other words, it's not to usurp their power, but it is a thing that they cannot be, let's say, be the only one who will determine if a situation merits involvement of the civil and human rights. And I'll just leave it at that explanation right now. But that is something that we need as a body to look at. We can work towards. We can talk and share. We be diplomatic about things. But it is something that, like I said, again, we are a council. We make recommendations. That's probably a good recommendation that we can be working on, something concrete to begin to try to change the way things have been, because that frustrates the members. It really frustrates them. And then as a result, when they get so frustrated, then they be duped and, like I say, doing some things that are not wise. Like one of the things that we might be doing, coming up now as a result, because of frustration. Finish.
Well, thank you, Gerald. Those are some really good ideas. Is there anything else under new business? Good and welfare. Now, we don't have Dana today, so I can't say I know it's some good and welfare. No, Dana always got something. And I actually don't have any either. I think the region bowling event is coming up and it's on our page, it's posted. I don't remember the date. I know it's coming. I know they're picking teams. If y'all don't stop having cooties, we might actually get to go to it. My job is to go and watch the bar. You know, I hold it up, make sure it don't fall. That is my job. I'm planning on coming to supervise the bar. If we get to go.
Well, are we gonna go as a team?
We can.
Because
You know,
I want to play.
I love help and support. You can come pray over me.
All right.
I appreciate that.
We're gonna come as a team and blow them out, y'all.
That's right. So is there any other good and welfare?
Yeah, I guess the only other thing, but we all members of it, Common Ground, African-American History, African-American Labor Union Conference, February the 24th through the 27th.
And I think that's posted on our page as well. I need all of you to come and register and participate. That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And other than that, I would entertain a motion for adjournment. It's always in order.
So
Motion
move.
to adjourn.
All
Support.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, vote with your leave button. Talk to you later.
All right.
Okay, everyone, thanks
See
for
you
your
later.
participation.
All right now.
Hey, Gerald,
Good
I'm gonna
evening,
call you
everybody.
tomorrow.
All right, man. Good. I was gonna say, yeah, let's touch
Oh,
base.
me too, big dog.
All right.
All righty.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
So well.
All right.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.